to address the committee on our items tonight?
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. I just have one quick comment about the first couple of items that are being presented, I think on the River Walk project that's being done. I know that's a TIF project, and I'd like to know what the plans are for the city, or what your plans are, Mayor Donchis, to allocate funding for TIF. Have you set any boundaries or limits on how much money you want to see scooped up downtown that's put into tax incremental financing initiatives? And my question is, I think my understanding is that money that's allocated specifically for downtown is not in the used to calculate the tax rate for the public. So it does raise the tax rate for the general public when that money is pushed off. Concord has a very heavy number of TIF districts, but they also have a very high tax rate. And I want to know what your limit is, or what your boundaries are for creating TIF districts and rolling properties into it. Thank you.
All right. Now we're to communications, 2 items. Now, Tim Cummings, who has really covered the first 2 and really the third item, is away. So we may wish to defer those till the next meeting in order to get him here to explain those details. And if that's your pleasure, is there a motion to table the first 3 items?
Well, I have a question.
Alderman Clemmons.
I assume that, because some of these are purchase orders, so I assume that delaying this is not going to affect the outcome of those. Like, those prices will still be good.
Yeah, I think the prices will still be good.
Okay. Thank you.
I would make a motion to table the first 3
Alderman
items.
Moran, motion to table the first 3 items. Any discussion? And that will be until the next meeting. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and award the contract for commissioning services to Fitzmyer and Tochi in an amount not to exceed $27,550. Funding will be through Department 160, Admin Engineering, Fund 53107, Architect and Engineering Services / DPW Facility.
Now, that is one of the 3 that we
Oh,
gave.
Right.
I didn't go down far enough.
You
Then I will
didn't go down far enough. Go down
belay
one
my
more.
hideous remarks. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the purchase of 26 Second Chance SX02 Level 2 bulletproof vests from Atlantic Tactical of New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, in an amount not to exceed $26,240.50. Funding will be through Department 150, Police Department, Fund 61110, Protective Clothing / BVP grant.
And I believe we have the PD. So you want to just tell us a little bit about, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but we usually get an explanation.
Good afternoon, Brian Kenny from the Police Department. It's pretty straightforward. The order for bulletproof vests is to accommodate new officers that we anticipate in hiring, and also as replacement vests for current vests that are in circulation. They have a 5-year shelf life, so every 5 years there's a contingent of vests that we have to renew. So that combined with the new officers is the number you see before you.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the purchase of ammunition and supplies from the state of New Hampshire, contract number 8002360, awarded to Eagle Point Gun and TJ Morris and Son in an amount not to exceed $72,798.99. Funding will be through Department 150, Police Department, Fund 61121, Ammunition and Supplies / General Fund.
Again, pretty self-explanatory, but I guess I'll say, does anybody have any questions, comments on this item, the ammunition? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and award the 2-year contract for professional landscaping for the maintenance of the Library Plaza grounds to Greener Tomorrow in an amount not to exceed $13,000. Funding will be through Department 179 Library, Fund 54280, Building/Grounds Maintenance/General Fund.
Is anyone from the library on Zoom?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
here, Mr. Mayor.
I see Director McCormick. Thank you, and could you give us a brief explanation, please?
This is new for the library, so prior to this year, our maintenance supervisor was responsible for maintaining the grounds, mowing, and leaf cleanup. It's really a big job for one person, so the trustees asked me to pursue having professional landscaping services instead. So we went out to bid. I'd originally got a quote for a pretty high amount, so I went out to bid, but we were lucky to have Greener Tomorrow come in with a nice affordable amount.
Great. Any questions? Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. So my question is, can you give us an idea of what the grounds are? Does it include the parking lot and the courtyard right outside the library? Can you just kind of go over what?
Oh, sure. So it's all 3 levels of the plaza area between the library building and the Court Street Theater building.
Okay.
And then adjacent to the public parking lot, all the way down, we mow and maintain all the way down to where that stairway goes down, the wooden stairway goes down to the Riverwalk. And then the grassy area adjacent to the building, walking down the steps to the staff parking lot. Oh, and I'm sorry. And then there's another area which the public doesn't really use. That is on the west end of the library, so following along on Court Street. There's a little grassy triangle.
Great.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate this contract. I think hopefully, it works out well, and, I don't want to begrudge anybody's work that they did previously, but as you said, it is a tall order for one person to do, so I think this is the right move, and I certainly will support it.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. McCormick, or Director McCormick, I appreciate you also putting a note in there that you met with this group, Greener Tomorrow, because they were so significantly lower than the others, just to ensure that they met all of the criteria. So just to kind of elaborate for anybody that's listening, you basically went over each of the elements that you just explained to Alderman Clemmons, those different areas. Can you give us why you think there was a difference, or just that it cost the other company a little bit more? There is quite a difference between 13 and 50,000. Yeah.
There is, and I addressed that directly with Greener Tomorrow. They were pretty frank. They are trying to break into or get more experience and exposure in commercial landscaping. They do have a contract for some municipal work in Hollis and somewhere else that I forget. So they priced it favorably. They're really enthusiastic about making the library grounds look great. We toured every area that needs to be maintained, and I'm confident that they're up to it. I can't speak for why the other quote was so high. I know the other landscaping firm, Doty, does have other contracts with the city.
Just a follow-up comment.
Yes.
Thank you, and I do appreciate you giving someone a chance. I know they may not necessarily be a proven entity, but to someone who's starting out, it's nice that the city is kind of taking them on as a contract to help them build their portfolio, so thank you.
Anybody else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, Kelly Parkinson, Communication, Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the purchase and installation of a central irrigation system from Corbett Incorporated of Concord, Mass. for the sum of $85,850. Funding will be through Department 177, Park and Recreation, Fund Capital, Activity Central Irrigation Project.
All right, now I don't see anyone from the Parks Department unless Mr. Hudson is going to cover this, but I can explain it. So this is a budgeted item, and it will complete the project that enables the Parks Department to control the irrigation systems from central location electronically. They're from their phone also, I believe. It saves money and in water because they have more immediate control over the system. They don't have to go up, back and forth to turn it off and on. And number two, it saves because less labor intensive. They don't actually have to go out to the field to turn on the water. They can just turn it on from their location, and then when it's run long enough, just turn it off. And part of the system has been done, but this will complete it. Now, if you have deeper questions than I have provided, we'd need to bring them in. All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the initial 6 months of fiscal year 23 purchase of polymer from Polydyne of Riceboro, Georgia, in the amount of $340,000. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater, Fund Wastewater, Account Classification 61, Supplies and Materials.
Mr. Boucher?
Thank you, Mayor. Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. This is for a year's supply of sodium hypochlorite. It's the chemical we use at wastewater for disinfection. A year's supply of sodium bisulfite. This is a chemical we use to remove residual chlorine before the treated wastewater is discharged to the river. And a 6-month supply of polymer. This is a chemical we use at the wastewater plant to aid in the sludge dewatering process. The reason that one's 6 months is because this particular company does their price changes in January, whereas the other two companies, for the other two chemicals, we get that through a chemical consortium through a bid process.
All right,
I'd be happy to answer any questions.
anybody? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, again, a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the 3-year cooperative service agreement between the City of Nashua and the USDA Wildlife Management Service for a combined 3-year total not to exceed $317,428.91. Funding for this agreement is through Department 168 Solid Waste, Fund Solid Waste, Account Classification 53, Professional and Technical Services.
Mr. LaFleur?
He's muted.
We can't hear you, Jeff.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
This is Jeff LaFleur, Superintendent of Solid Waste.
Now, we're on the wildlife thing. I don't know if you
Sorry.
heard that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is our 3-year contract. It's a permitted thing through DES that we have to have someone there scaring away the seagulls and turkey vultures and any vectors that are around the landfill. They also go around throughout the city scaring turkey vultures from other properties that may have problems. When we scare them off the landfill, they tend to congregate somewhere else. He'll go out there and scare them away from them.
All right. Anyone? Any turkey vulture fans or anything like that? No. Alderman Clemens.
being on the finance committee for as long as I have in the past, I've seen this come up and, people always wonder why we have to do this, but I mean, unfortunately, it is something we have to do, and it does help to keep wildlife and things like that away from the landfill. So it seems like a lot of money. You know, it is a lot of money, but we're required to do it, so we don't really have a choice.
Anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the award of the construction contract for the 2022 CIPP lining program to Kenyon Pipeline Inspection LLC. Of Queensbury, New York, in the amount of $1,412,170. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund Wastewater Activity Sewer Rehab.
Mr. Hudson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the program by which we inspect and then line sewer pipes. This is much less expensive to line a pipe than to dig a pipe and replace it. Put this out to bid, received 4 bids. Kenyon was the low bidder, and they've worked in the city since 2019, so we're familiar with their work and recommend award to them.
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the request for the Conway 60-month lease renewal replacement for copier equipment leases and maintenance renewals in various city departments in an amount not to exceed $29,250. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology, Fund 54421, Copier Maintenance / General Fund.
Is Ms. Kleiner here on this, or Ms. DeShay? No? Kelly Parkinson, you want to tell us what, it's pretty obvious, but just give us a little something here.
I don't see her here.
Oh, she's
Yeah, I
not
don't
here?
think she's here.
Well, this is the copier leases for all of City Hall and beyond, isn't it?
Good evening, Mayor. Our apologies. The manager that handled this is out today. It is copier leases and maintenance on a few of our fundamental units in most of our heavy-hitting departments. So you're dealing with generally like risk management, human resources, assessing our larger departments. This doesn't include some of our others, though, over at like DPW and some of the outward searching. So I just don't want you to think that there won't be some others that are coming at a different time. But it does cover the Conway copiers that we lease.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve a 3-year contract from 9/1/22 to 8/31/25 to upgrade the city's risk management software master services agreement with Computer Sciences Corporation, CSC, Riskmaster 7.1, client hosted, in the amount not to exceed $150,976, which is $47,516 per year for 3 years, with a one-time setup fee of $8,428 for Amazon Web Services and SciSense reporting. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology, Fund 71228, Computer Software, and 54407 Software Maintenance / General Fund.
Ms. DeShay?
Hi, Jennifer Deshays, Risk Management. A few months ago, we presented to Finance a request to upgrade our current version of the risk management software. It's no longer being supported by Microsoft, and the version's no longer being supported by the vendor. We've had this software since 2003. This is the 3-year maintenance agreement supporting that software.
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve a multi-year contract for the maintenance and support of the City of Nashua's Hypercaster playback server to Telview Care in an amount not to exceed $15,500. Funding will be through Department 122 Information Technology, Fund 54487, Equipment Repairs and Maintenance / PEG Access Channels Special Revenue Fund.
Good evening, Kim Kleiner, Administrative Services Director. So this is an interesting one. First, I need to correct the fund that is noted on your agenda. It is not 54280, our mistake. It is 54487, Equipment and Maintenance.
All
So,
right, does Alderman Camo wish to amend your?
Isn't that what I said?
That's what you
That
read.
is what we have.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I said-
54487, Equipment Repairs and Maintenance.
All right.
It's correct
Way
on
ahead
our,
of me.
it's correct
Yes,
on our
corrected on this.
script, but not on necessarily on the agenda.
All right, so the
Oh,
motion was
okay.
correct, but the
Don't
agenda
go by the
is wrong.
agenda.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
So 5 years ago, the CTV studio in PEG purchased this Telview Hypercaster playback system. This really does do all of the management of the TV station. So not just Channel 99 or Channel 16, but also Channel 96. It's how you actually program and play back the shows at any particular time. It also does all the storage of those shows and all the live meeting content. We realized when we went back that original contract wasn't brought to finance. It was approved by CTV, by the CTAB board. So we wanted to give a little bit of explanation and make sure that because this continuation is a 2-year, that it is approved by finance and then approved by the full board on Tuesday. The equipment's 5 years old. It was originally purchased and included 3 years of complimentary maintenance. Then we did an extension on that, and now we're looking for a 2-year. The advisory board did approve this on June 10th, and now we're bringing it forth for your approval as well.
Questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item, communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the request for a contract with Sapphire Digital for the city's Smart Shopper program for 1 year in an amount not to exceed $40,000. Funding will be through Department 113 Benefits, Fund 59600, Smart Shopper Program / Benefits Fund.
Ms. Kleiner?
Good evening. So this Smart Shopper program, the city has had about for 3 years now. So this is a program where employees can call in and find an alternative provider for a service that they may be having, which charges the city a lower rate, and it provides an incentive, a payback to the employee. So originally we had a 3-year contract with Smart Shopper, and we've watched the program grow. We'd like to see more growth than we're actually seeing. And some of the feedback that we've gotten from employees is that they would like a mobile option, right? We're all connected to our phones these days. And it's easier, especially if you're going from provider to provider. Currently, Smart Shopper doesn't have that option, but they are working on it. So we've agreed to enter into a one-year extension so that we can evaluate where they are next year with that mobile app and some other program features that we'd like to see. So therefore, we are only asking for the 1 year extension of the Smart Shopper program. There are other options out there. They're a little bit more expensive than this. So we'd have to evaluate that next year at this time.
Alderwoman Cleage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Director Kleiner. Thank you so much for the performance report that you put up there. I was very interested in the missed opportunity savings and so on. And do I understand that right? Meaning that these are places, like for instance, if I looked at the 10 missed opportunity claims or the 10 missed opportunity savings, and it says lab/blood work, it means that if they had gone to a cheaper place, it would have saved both them and the city money? Is that how I should read that, those dollar figures?
That's correct. So one of the benefits about Smart Shopper is it is connected. They have a great relationship with Anthem, so they can evaluate that data. And they can determine that, oh, we had some opportunities where our members may have gone here, not called Smart Shopper, or not engaged or enrolled in the program, and could have saved the city money here and also gained to themselves an incentive. So we all work together, WBS, Anthem, Smart Shopper, we evaluate data, and then shortly, sometime late October, November, we get together and we do a deep dive into all the data, Smart Shopper included.
I do think having a mobile entrance into this would help the user, because they can just go on themselves, don't have to make those phone calls and try to do that. I think it might be easier for them. So I would like to see that maybe in the future contract. So thank you.
Alderman Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Director Kleiner, how much has the Smart Shopper saved the city in comparison to its cost?
So if you look at the May 2022 performance that I sent and included in the package, you're looking at a total gross savings of about $312,614. That is, see where it says period to date. So that's program to date, really.
And, sorry, can I have
No.
a follow-up? Now, within our benefit package, and this is my ignorance, do we not level out like tiered providers? Like, I don't know, St. Joe's is tier 1, Southern's tier 2, sending a message to the employee that if they go to St. Joe's, it'll save money in the end. Is that something that's, because I know Harvard Pilgrim does it that way. I'm not sure if Anthem does it the same way.
No, I don't believe they do. Other than the Smart Shopper, we have some programs that we push to our employees that Anthem lets us know of, and either on a monthly basis or we have 2 Wellness Wednesdays, we call them, during the month where we push information, employees look for information. Most of the Smart Shopper alternatives that and savings that they show are more by service. So from what I've seen, you may have one service that is actually cheaper at Southern and another that's actually cheaper at St. Joseph's, I think it's depending upon the equipment and the providers that they actually have providing that service. But I haven't seen an actual tiered approach.
Maybe a statement. I've just seen in the mental health field, for some reason I'm like a premier provider for Anthem. I don't know what I did to do that. The way I pointed out though is that the cost for someone to come to see me be less than going to see someone maybe who's not a premier, like level 2, maybe didn't do the right credentialing packet or something, and that kind of sends a signal to the employee that they may end up paying more and or their employer. It's not, this is great, I mean, you're saving a lot of money, but I don't sometimes like visuals for the individual, when they have their plan, is helpful. Just feedback, not a critique. So, thank you.
Well, and it's important to note that, you know, mental health has been one of our high-cost claims, right? And so Anthem just developed a new program for mental health services, and that kind of has its own set of savings already built into it. And that's one of the programs that we pushed out at our last Wellness Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Alderman Como.
Yes, how can aldermen who are unhappy with their private sector insurance get onto this plan?
You'd have to pass an ordinance.
Yes.
Anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Kamone.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to place on file and approve the request for a contract with QBE Insurance Corporation for the city's excess loss policy, otherwise known as a stop loss, in an amount not to exceed $1,905,516. Funding will be through Department 113 Benefits, Fund 59165, Stop Loss Coverage / Benefits Internal Services Fund.
Kim Kleiner. So as the last one was a little bit of better news, this one is our stop loss coverage. So our stop loss coverage covers claims in excess of $350,000 per incident per member. We did get notice from Anthem very early on in the annual renewal process that they would be charging us differently for this upcoming year. And the price was going up substantially, and that's why I wanted to include in the packet the actual bid document so that you could see. We went out to bid through WBS, Workplace Benefit Solutions, who's our consultant. And Anthem and a number of others replied. QB was the low-cost provider. They are also someone that Workplace Solutions has experience with. And they have a very positive recommendation. Unfortunately, this is an area that as our stop loss claims continue to rise, and you saw some of that this year, so does the premiums. And that's just how the insurance works. So unfortunately, it is a necessity. You really do need to have the stop loss insurance, and it was a positive experience for the city this year, as in we benefited from the overall cost of the premium that we paid. We do believe that moving forward with QBE is in the best interest of the city at this time, and we'd go out pretty much every year for this insurance. It's that volatile.
Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Director Kleiner. The price ranges really are quite all over the place, from a 73.4% increase to the QBE of the 19.9% increase. Do we really know why? And I apologize if you mentioned it. I did get distracted for a few seconds, but.
It really is when they analyze our data, right? So when you send out for a bid for a packet like stop loss, they are looking at your claims. They're looking at the age of your membership. And they have calculations that they do that actually compare and estimate what your claims are going to be. And unfortunately, some of that weighs against us. So the cost of our membership, the type of ailments that they have, and the stop loss percentage that we've used in the past, it just has weighed against us for the past few years.
May I?
Yes.
And I agree, and I understand that's why it goes up, but I just, the differences between, from like Optum, which would be 73.4% higher, versus the QBE, which is 19.9% higher, Sun Life, which would be 72.1% higher. You know, just looking at that, I didn't understand what the others were gonna be offering us that would make it worth going with anybody other than QBE. I just didn't know if, I mean, to me, it's just a stopgap. Once we hit that amount, is it that they kick in or that?
Right, so they reimburse
They
us
reimburse
for
us,
the, it really is from the way the consultant has explained it to me, it really is the difference in how the different companies interpret the risk.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. Director Kleiner, generally, I'm always in favor of the lowest bid, but where the cost from QBE is fairly close overall to the cost from Anthem, would there be any benefit familiarity-wise with staying with the company we used before?
Great question. So we did use Anthem. We have used others prior to Anthem. One of the things that we considered when we looked at this isn't Anthem's primary business, stop loss. So we expect that they will continue to rise. We didn't see any benefits that QBE can't offer us that Anthem could. So if we can develop a relationship with QBE, it may be in our best interest moving forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Oh, thank you. Director Kleiner, I do have a question. Does this QB also include the school district as well, or just the city?
It includes all our members.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next, a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I would like to make a motion to place on file and approve the extension of the existing contract with Melanson for services to audit the city's general purpose financial statements, federal single audit, and schedules for fiscal years 2022 and 2023 in an amount not to exceed $265,000, which is $132,500 per year for 2 years, for a total of $265,000. Funding will be through Department 126, Financial Services, Fund 53114, Accounting and Auditing Services / General Fund, $193,000 / Solid Waste Fund, and $29,000 / Wastewater Fund, $43,000.
Mr. Griffin is the CFO.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of the committee, John Griffin, CFO, Treasurer, Tax Collector. The city, due to the size, is required to have an external independent audit annually. We've used Melanson and Heath was the prior name. It is now Melanson. They're very comfortable with our systems that need to be audited. We're comfortable with them as far as the information we provide, so it's an effective and efficient way of reviewing the city's financial statements on an annual basis. So I'm here tonight to support your favorable approval of this 2-year extension that will help us get moving and get the audit done for fiscal 22 as that is now behind us. Thank you.
Questions? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
No, you just.
Yeah, so without objection, we'll place on file the next communication, which is simply regarding an emergency PO for chemicals at the wastewater plant under the circumstances that are described in the memo. All right, unfinished business, we have none. Table in committee, none. New business resolutions, none. New business ordinances, we don't have any. Record of expenditures, Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the records of expenditures for the periods from May 27th, 2022 to June 9th, 2022, and from June 10th, 2022 to June 30th, 2022.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. General discussion? Public comment? Any members of the public want to address the committee? Does Scott have his hand raised? Yes, Mr. McCullough. Please proceed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Scott McCullough from Nashua, New Hampshire. I live at 49 Congress Street, Building 49, Apartment 6. I'd like to tell you about a awesome thing we are doing with the liquid, however you say it, something commission, the commission, liquid commission, or
Liquor.
Liquor Commission?
the liquor commission that will help Best Buddies. If you guys can help us out, I just sent it to the City of Nashua's website and the Instagram. I'm just asking if you guys can give if you guys can buy tickets $100, and all the money will help Best Buddies with a lot of activities we do. This commission is going to be, all their profits are going to go to the Best Buddies. I would, if you look on my Facebook, you'll see the link. I greatly appreciate if you guys could buy tickets. It's going for a good cause. It's going for Best Buddies New Hampshire. Thank you, Alderman Patricia, for joining us for the Best Buddies Friendship Walk. And I said it right this time. I had to make sure I did.
Yes.
And thank you for the donation. Thanks for the donation the mayor gave me. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to be probably coming down either this week or next week with a painting that I would like to donate to you that I made. And I would like to donate it to you and have you hang it up in your office. I did a paint night, and I would like to donate this painting to your office to say thank you.
All right.
And if you can get a hold of, I think it's Lori.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a hold of her to see if we can get into the chambers maybe September 13th, if that's convenient with you, Mayor. We'd like to
30
show
seconds.
you what Best Buddies is about. But it's up, I could ask one of our, Katie, I'll ask her to contact your office or contact somebody and see if we can work some type of agreement to have us come into the chambers, tell you about Best Buddies, and try to get some more people to do the walk next year. My challenge is out there is if anybody wants to still donate, they can donate. I have to get an additional $215 because the sneakers are $1,500.
Hey, so Scott, so your 3 minutes, I'm sorry, are up, but I think Lori, we'll check with Lori about that. Lori arranges that, Lori Wilshire, regarding the
Yes.
appearance.
Let me
And
know.
I believe it's the Lottery Commission. That sounds like it's a lottery.
Yes. The Liquor Commission, I meant.
No, the Lottery Commission, I think is what we're probably,
The Liquor Commission actually is the one
really? Okay.
that's doing the Best Buddies raffle thingy.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Ortolano?
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. I wanted to talk to you tonight and get some help from the seated aldermen regarding the Performing Arts Center. This organization was set up when the New Market Tax Credit money was received with two entities that are managing that arts center. 201 Main Street Realty and the NPAC. NPAC is, I believe, for-profit, and 201 Main Street Realty is nonprofit. What happened when we did that is, that was a very complex financial deal to try and obtain this $2.5 million that we were looking for, that we were unable to obtain through fundraising in the early phases when we were building the Art Center. The early commitment was it was a $15 million bond, and we would obtain $2.5 million of money or donations from the public. And that didn't come to fruition. The bond amount went up to $25 million, and the city started exploring other options to get money. And my recollection is they found this finance vehicle through the federal government called a New Market Tax Credit, which could be used really for banks to buy to receive deep tax discounts to invest in this facility. And we would receive $2.5 million from it. So we set this up, and in order to do this very complicated deal, we had to set up two companies. These companies, I have been trying to find out if they are subject to RSA 91A open records laws. I believe they should be. I believe they should be because they have at least 80% of our taxpayer dollars were given to that facility. And ordinarily, the RSA 91A would specify that entities that receive substantial amounts of taxpayer monies must be subject to the open records law. Now, RSAs and state statutes define that for BIDA, Business Industrial Development Authorities. They're called out as 91A compliant businesses, even though they're not operating within the city itself, because they commingle with the city and they commingle with projects. The Nashua Housing Authority is another organization. The Airport Authority is another organization. And we all know public utility companies are public entities, and we can obtain those records. Bills on our neighbors' accounts we can get. Building costs, housing costs on any house you're gonna buy, open public records. So I really believe the city should have set up these two entities as public RSA 91A open entities, but I'm not certain they did. They're not willing to answer me.
30 seconds.
All the leadership has shunned me, but Rich Lannon, who's the president of both entities, wrote to me a week ago and said our meetings are public, and said there were 3 meetings held between December and May that were public meetings. The problem is they weren't properly posted, noticed, and the minutes were never generated. So they were in violation of the law. And we are still struggling with Tim Cummings putting records out inappropriately and not following 91A. So I would like one of you to find out if this is in fact a public entity and help me figure this out. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to address the committee? All right, remarks by aldermen. Any alder people have remarks? Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I would like to motion to adjourn.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and the meeting of the Finance Committee is adjourned at 7:48 p.m.